In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. My name is Professor Shehu Alhaji Musa. I'm the current Vice-Chancellor of Kano University of Science and Technology, UDIL, for the second term. I was born in a village called Gwagwarandang in Albas local government area of Kano State, and I had my primary education there, and I've attended Gama Secondary School Paragai and then Science Secondary School Dachunkudu, and I also attended Usman Danfodio University Sokoto for my Bachelor of Science degree in General Agriculture. I had my National Youth Service with Central Bank of Nigeria. Then I was employed as a graduate assistant at Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi, where I had my master's degree in agricultural economics. And in the same university, in collaboration with Purdue University in the United States, I had my PhD program as a joint collaborative work between Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University and Purdue University in the US. I worked with Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University for about 10 years, and then I left Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University for Bayero University for about 16 years. For a period of about 26 years, I have so far been in the business of tertiary education. I had a lot of publications, over 100 in peer-reviewed journals, edited professional conference proceedings, technical reports, and many other reports. And in the course of my career, I have graduated PhD students and many master's students and many undergraduate students, MBA students, PhD students, and a lot more. And I was privileged to be the head of department for agricultural economics and extension of Bayero University, Kano. And then I became special advisor to the executive governor on food security, and then I was the provost of Audubako College of Agriculture, Dambata. And as I earlier mentioned, at the moment, I'm the current Vice-Chancellor of Kano University of Science and Technology for the second term, and I'm married with 5 children. As you rightly know, certainly life is full of challenges, and nobody will be exempted from those challenges. Whether you are from a poor background, whether you are from a rich background, whether you are from a middle class, certainly challenges are bound to be faced in life. I wouldn't want to say that my challenges are exceptional, but I think there are challenges that the youth of nowadays would have an opportunity to see them so that they can be able to address some of those challenges in future. I'm happy that this interview we're doing this interview with youth, promising youth, that we can have hope that they can be able to be an asset to our nation, and in particular an asset to our own states. Having said that, youth of nowadays need to understand that there are serious challenges and predicaments that everybody will face. Some of these challenges revolves around commitment to hard work, which unfortunately youth of nowadays, they don't seem to be somewhat ready to really take up the challenge of hard work. If you see anybody successful in life, they must have gone through many rigors. The rigors of hard work, the rigors of commitment, the rigors of dedication, the rigors of honesty, the rigors of integrity, the rigors of perseverance, the rigors of consistency, and the rigors of persistency in terms of pushing for what you want to attain in life. I remember in those days, if you are to travel to from Kano to Sokoto, it's a matter of spending either the whole night or virtually spending the whole day. That in itself is a big challenge. In my life, I never traveled. The maximum distance I've covered is from Kano to Zaria before finishing my secondary school. So the first challenge I met was going to a distance of over 400 kilometers. And if you do not persevere, the next day probably one would have found himself back in Kano to say that I cannot continue to do this especially because Bayero University is within Kano. Many people would have opted for that. But quite a number of us persevere. They took it as a challenge that we must be able to come here and we must be able to make a landmark. Some of us in our own class, there is what we call BOBA. And the name is actually emanated from what they call Book Borers Association, which all the time, 9 of us or 10 of us will be in the classroom, day and night. And I can assure you, before our lecturers will come with their own note, we have already compiled our own note based on the course content that has been given to us. I was happy to know that one of the classroom in Usman Ampodo University, at least up to the time we left, I don't know whether it is still there or not, but it used to be called Gwagwa class. And this is named after my humble self because of, being there all the time. If I have to read, I'll be in that room. And therefore it was named after the name of my village. But this is Gwagwa class. And all the students are aware. Where are you going? I'm going to Gwagwa class to read. And I think this tells you that this is one of the benefits of being consistent and being hard work and being exemplary. Youth of nowadays need to be prepared so that they can be exemplary to those that are following them. In the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University where I served, and I can assure you, when we completed our National Youth Service Corps, we had an opportunity to be employed in Central Bank of Nigeria. We were, given an opportunity to serve, but because my father felt that I should be in the academia, I opted to leave the opportunities that I have in Central Bank of Nigeria, and I opted to leave the opportunity I have as a general manager of one of the largest industries in Kano to join the academia. And I can assure you, when I joined the academics, my first salary was, 2,600 naira. And many of my colleagues decided to leave the system because they cannot actually cope with 2,600. And at the central bank, my salary was 4-fold than the 2,600. And then we still decided to follow, the instruction of our parents and to leave where you can earn 10,000 to come and join a job where you can earn 2,600. But as I speak to you at the moment, even with my colleagues that have been in the Central Bank of Nigeria, I'm not being selfish, but I think I'm more, I seems to be more contented and more, in terms of positive impact on the society than most of my colleagues that have joined those, other services of Central Bank, NNPC, other commercial banks, Nigerian Port Authority, and quite a number of other agencies, custom, immigration, and what have you. So once you are patient, and once you are contented, and once you are focused, then you'll be able to have a positive bearing in your life. I'm happy today to say that I became professor virtually at the age of 43, which is one of the quick and a sort of mega achievement by people within that age bracket. As I speak to you now, I'm almost a professor of almost 10 years standing. And when you look at my age, I'm sure many people will not believe that I'm even yet to be a professor, because in those days, professors used to have gray hair. They need to be old and what have you. But the system has changed and we're able to adapt. And therefore, one of the lessons that youth of nowadays need to do is to ensure that they keep adapting to the new technological, innovations and inventions that are within their point of view. Again, the journey was really tough and difficult because in our time you have to publish, and as they call it, it is either you publish or you perish, and it can take you 2-3 years to complete a publication. But Alhamdulillah, nowadays the IT has done a great job for all of us. Within a year you can publish quite a number of articles. So all said and done, my happiness is the fact that I have been involved in championing the cause of the society in 3 key areas: in the area of education and in the area of agriculture. And I believe Northern Nigeria and Nigeria as a whole do not have any better alternative than these 2 key important areas of life: education and agriculture. If we can ensure that all the citizens will receive functional education at primary school level and secondary school level and the tertiary level, then sky is the beginning of our journey. And Northern Nigeria cannot do without agriculture. Agriculture is the only area that can really employ virtually all the teeming youth that are running around. So youth must understand that there is no shortcut to life, and anybody that believes in shortcut to life will naturally not make the necessary progress and the necessary achievement that will be for the benefit of other people. So therefore, youth need to be patient. They need to go step by step, and they need to understand that for you to be at the upstairs, there are steps that you have to follow. And in attempting to jump any of the steps, the likelihood for you to crash and tumble is there. And therefore, life is gradual. They need to take it like that. Whether you are from a rich background, whether you are from a poor background, opportunities are there for you to make ends meet in as much as you receive a functional education. And the wordings of their parent should be like writing on marble. They should be able to see it as a cardinal way of, getting successful in life. And again, they need to understand that the future is in their hand. It is either they use it correctly and they become useful, and therefore the society benefits, or they use it wrongly and the consequence will be on everybody. I urge the youth of your generation and other generations, and even including my generation, that the onerous task of moving Nigeria forward is for all of us to be committed and for all hands to be on deck. There is no shortcut to this. We must follow the roadmap that has been laid down, and we must climb the steps one after the other, so that the progress and development of the country will be a long-lasting one. We also must ensure that the culture of honesty and integrity is being imbibed on all of us. People felt that today Rome has been built in one day, and it is not so. People believe that in one day they can achieve all that they can achieve in their life. They must be prepared to avoid and to protect the names of their families, to protect their own names, by being honest, by being dedicated, and by being full adherence to the tenet of transparency, accountability. This is what will help us to really make progress in our country. And therefore, youth should be able to reverse in all ramifications. They should be able to reverse the tendencies of corruption and corrupt practices and sharp practices that are virtually in all stratas of our life. Corruption do not necessarily mean only financial things, but justice, fair play needs to be imbibed. If justice and fair play has been enshrined in our system, I'm sure everybody in our country will have a cause to smile and will have a cause to celebrate the victory, the victorious progress of Nigeria. And I believe that these are part of what we should actually package. Partly again, you also have a big challenge of leadership in our country, because the institutions have not grown up to the level that they give leaders the necessary protection, and they keep them on one track. And therefore, the challenges are multiple from all facets, and you must get your acts right. You must remain focused. You must remain vigilant, and we also must remain prayerful for God to help us to really choose the best leaders that will put us on the right pedestal. However, I think Not because I'm the one that was able to do it, but simply because I wanted it to be a lesson to you and others. I want to invite you and invite all our viewers that are interested to really have an opportunity to see what we're able to do for the last 6 years in Kano University of Science and Technology. In the area of academic achievement and other entrepreneurial endeavors, like I've told you, I have graduated a number of PhD students, almost about 6 of them or so. And I want to assure you that all the PhD students that have graduated are now full professors. And I think this is heart gladdening for you to graduate PhD that will now crown up the climax of their achievement at the professorial level. And they are all working in the universities, in Bayero University, in Kano University of Science and Technology, in Federal University of Technology, Mina, and in Adamawa State University, Mubi. And these people are also now contributing to training of other people, and including some of my master students. About 4 of them are now in the position of full professors, those that have supervised at master's level. And all said and done, to my credit, is about 10 professors or close, about 10 professors, which I think is, in terms of academic achievement, this is one of the highest, I think, achievement and things that gladden my heart. If you recast to the days when I was the head of the Department of Agricultural Economics and Extension of Bayero University, we have started a postgraduate programs. During my tenure, I have employed more than almost getting to 16 new academic staff in that department. I was instrumental to the mounting of what they call Sasakawa Africa Extension Fund Education Program, which is a BSc Agricultural Extension Program. When I was in Audubon College of Agriculture, judging from what other people commented, the last over 30-40 years of that college, it has never witnessed the transformation that we are able to do within the short stay of about a year that I serve as a provost of that university, of that college. And then for Kano University of Science and Technology, I believe put together what we were able to achieve in these 6 years, it has outweighed the achievement of all the 14 years of the university put together. And that is why a number of people decided to describe our tenure, or to describe my person, as the architect of modern Kano University of Science and Technology. And I believe it's not by joke. We have constructed 3 faculties in my tenure: Faculty of Computing and Mathematical Sciences, Faculty of Earth and Environmental Sciences, and Faculty of Agriculture. And our journey to establish College of Health Sciences, Faculty of Veterinary Sciences, and Faculty of Pharmaceutical Sciences is been there. And then I hope also in my tenure as the General Manager of National Open University of Nigeria, Consult and Investment Limited, with an acronym of NOUNSEL, the consultancy arm of the university never had it so good compared to the period when I was, the general manager of the outfit. We're able to come up with a lot of innovations that translate to the industrial achievement that, that has been asked. The water factory was expanded, and then the guest house was expanded. We had a very large university farm. We have planted over 500,000 seedlings of various types. And in those days, virtually all the guava you see around the road from Kaduna to Kano are produced from the farm. We also have dairy section. I've come up with tractor hiring units. We have come up with a pharmacy. We have come up with transportation services. We have come up with tailoring services. We have come up with a lot of other investment, grape farming, fish funds, and many other entrepreneurial activities have been established during my tenure as the General Manager for National Open University Consultant Investments Limited, and that is what we have actually copied to support Kano University of Science and Technology. Again, when I serve as the special advisor to the governor on food security, we have done a lot of work in terms of coming up with gigantic programs that will be for the revolution of agriculture in the states. And I can assure you, from 1999 to date, there is what we call Kano Academic Community Forum as a way of community service. And Kano Academic Community Forum from 1999 to date has been responsible, has been involved in packaging a blueprint for the development of Kano State. And we have done it under all the regimes from 1999 to this period. And that has been done as a token contribution of the members of the Kano Academic Community Forum, which I was opportuned to be the chairman of this forum from 1999 to date. We have done the submission of our own intellectual work across different governments, like I said, from 1999 to date. And it is our intention to continue to do so, so that, Kano State as a whole and probably Nigeria will also benefit. We have done similar work at the national level, especially dealing with the agricultural sector of the country, and we'll continue to also do that so that our country will benefit from some of this intellectual work and from some of these suggestions that have been put forward for leaders. We could have said we're going to wait until we have been involved as consultant, but for the development of our dear states and our dear country, I do not see any reason why we cannot give intellectual contribution unless we do it on a kind of consultancy basis. To cap it also on, I have served as consultant to many international organizations and agencies across my career. One of the biggest contribution I had was the introduction of non-chemical storage technology in terms of preservation of cowpeas. In those days, all the technology that has been extended in Africa at the moment on non-chemical storage of cowpea was directly or indirectly involved. I served for Nigeria in particular, and then I served at some West African countries to ensure that farmers and consumers been protected from the residual effects of chemicals that have been sprayed on cowpeas. Apart from this, I have done quite a number of work for DFID, for USAID, for ADENI projects, and then for sucrose analysis of cowpea, and quite a number of other international organizations. And right from the word go, I have been a successful farmer, and I'm still in a very active farming stage. My estimate, probably most likely this year alone, I may be in position to produce about 700 bags of rice from the farm, some of which I have rented. Some of the farms are mine, some of them I have rented them out, and then maybe probably about 300 bags of maize and probably 200 bags of cowpea. So in that area, I think I have also been given my own token contribution as an investment, as well as to also allow others from around my farm to also learn from some of the existing practices that have been introduced into my entrepreneurial activities. Again, in the area of academic endeavors, we have been involved in introduction of new courses, 20 of them, and I think for the benefit of our viewers and listeners, it's good to mention some of them. We have automotive engineering, mechatronics engineering, irrigation engineering, agri-engineering, water resource engineering, building technology, estate management, quantity surveying, science lab, library and information technology, human kinetics, PHE, technical and vocational education, and other science education courses. All these are to prepare our students so that they become useful members of the society. The last 6 years also, I was the one that established the Faculty of Science and Technology Education, including the Technical and Vocational Education Department. And I'm telling you, that the Technical and Vocational Education Department is one of the best departments that is being subscribed by students from across different faculties of the university. So if Nigeria is to become great, we must emphasize on the issue of technical and vocational education. It's not everybody that must earn a degree, but many people can earn a living from technical and vocational entrepreneurial skills. And I think that is why the Kano state government, under the leadership of Dr. Lamon Ganduje, need to be commended for the Dangote Skill Acquisition Center, where 16 different trades will be, will be used to train different, youth of states. And I think it's really a good effort. And the youth need to rethink in terms of accepting these innovations that will help them to make life meaningful for themselves and also meaningful for others. In the area of entrepreneurship, my wife has been involved in quite a number of other entrepreneurial engagement, soap making, and quite a number of other domestic, activities. All this has been done so that people will be encouraged, and I'm sure many people will be surprised to hear that one of my child is actually interested in becoming a tailor. And somebody came to said, "You are a Vice-Chancellor of a university. How would you allow your child to go and learn tailoring?" And I said, "Look, what is bad in learning tailoring? The son of a Vice-Chancellor cannot learn to be a tailor." So I have allowed him to learn tailoring, and I can assure you now he can stitch his clothes for himself. And probably, I'm sure, next 1 or 2 years, I will be giving him my own clothes to also sew it for me. It will be my pride to say that this clothes that I'm wearing has been, has been produced by my own child. So people need to change their psyche, because somebody came to me curious, why should a child of a Vice-Chancellor go and learn tailoring? So what is wrong for a child of a Vice-Chancellor to go and learn tailoring? And therefore, if we will have this kind of thinking, it is more apparent for people from poor background and even from rich background to understand that they really need to coordinate, and they need to give their children an opportunity for them to really learn basic technical and occupational skills that will help them to achieve meaningful life. So all said and done, I think in the area of education, I've said quite a number of positive achievements that we have recorded. In the area of industrialship and other things, we have also inaugurated that area. One of my child has already taken up the opportunity by himself. If you just reach my back end here, you see a number of sheep and goats that he's actually rearing, and he's doing it on his own. And I think these are the issues that we really need to take up and imbibe. The necessary protections have not been well developed. Funding challenge is a big challenge. Again, I think the perception of leadership at the tertiary level from different stratas is another challenge. And number 4, the students themselves, they have also another area of challenge that really needs to be addressed. The staff-student relationship is also a critical area that need to be addressed. However, all the challenges that I have mentioned, if you remain sincere and if you remain committed, and if you exhibit the tenets that I've already mentioned in terms of honesty, in terms of dedication, in terms of commitment, I can assure you, you will be able to surmount virtually all these challenges that I have mentioned. However, we have no substitute to higher education training. So despite the challenges, we must do our own part to really address them. All the achievements that I have mentioned to you, the challenges that we face, but the attribute we have imbibed enable us to make a breakthrough. And despite the fact that yes, leadership is a challenge, but we can be able to surmount it to a level that will not be a sort of a barrier for us to make greater successes in life. So really, I think there are a lot of challenges in tertiary education administration, but the challenges are not unsurmountable. They can be solved, they can be resolved, and they can be addressed. All my life, I have dedicated them in terms of achieving 3 key issues. 1, educational development. Number 2, agricultural development. And number 3, how can we provide employment for the teeming youth of our country? These are the 3 issues that really, in terms of priority, these are the 3 issues that give me sleepless nights. Even if I completed my tenure as the Vice-Chancellor, I want to assure you that wherever I still found myself, I will still be of service to the academia. I will be of service to Bayero University. I will be of service to Kano University of Science and Technology. I will be of service to Usman Danfodio University. I will be of service to Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University. And I will be of service to all tertiary educational system if I have an opportunity to do so, including colleges of education, including polytechnics, universities, and not only this, including primary schools, secondary school, and all tiers of education. That has been my ambition, and this is what I will continue to pursue. While in the area of agriculture, I hope to see Nigeria surviving with its GDP being controlled substantially by agriculture. The German experiment of 1,000 exportable commodities, if I have an opportunity, I would like to see it happening in Nigeria, because I know the only way for Nigeria to survive, the only way for peace to reign in our country, agriculture must be revived. Agriculture must be made to be profitable. It must be made to be commercially oriented. Agriculture must play its own role in terms of food security for our country, and it must play its own role in terms of foreign exchange earner for the country. I can assure you, one value chain alone can provide job for millions of people. If you take poultry value chain only, this is something that employs millions of people. If you take rice value chain, this is something that employs millions of people. If you take a livestock sector, can employ millions of people. If you employ fisheries, it can do marvelous job for you. If you take forestry, it can do a great job for you. If you take arable crop production, it's a golden opportunity. If you take dairy industry alone, this is a $1 trillion industry for the country. And if my ambition is to be fulfilled, I hope to see, playing a lead role in terms of, revolutionizing agriculture of our country. And I think there has to be a kind of targeted approach to all areas of our agricultural development, and comparative advantage need to be emphasized in terms of what can you do and what can you do better. I'm happy that at the moment, some of the programs that the federal government is pursuing in agriculture will hopefully be able to give some kind of transformation issues in the country, mechanization of agricultural activities, and quite a number of other issues. But it is my hope that in the longer term, we can be able to talk about precision agriculture, in terms of control agriculture and precision agriculture, well mechanized agriculture, that will be attractive to the youth, so that the nation will produce more than enough, and then we now begin to discuss about the journey of export to other countries and to other continents of the world. Nigeria has what it takes in terms of human resources, in terms of land resources, in terms of water resources, in terms of human capital, in terms of managerial skills, to be able to come up with this agricultural system that will ensure that everybody can go to sleep in terms of having enough and adequate food that he can be able to feed himself and members of his family. And then lastly, like I've told you, when you take education and you marry that with agriculture, then the third dream that I have in terms of youth employment has already been resolved, because agriculture can take the entire population of our country and make them useful. either in the area of production, or in the area of marketing, or in the area of other post-harvest activities. I believe that the future of Nigeria is great, and God willing, if we're able to come up with a system that everybody believes that Nigeria is his or her own country, and he has a role to play in terms of its development. It therefore means that Nigeria will continue to be a greater country, not only within Africa, but I can assure you, within all over the world. There has never been, to the best of our knowledge, a country that has been so blessed with all the resources that is being required to make progress, much more than Nigeria. I think the missing link is in the area of coordination, is in the area of putting things together that will enable us to really move forward. For me, as Professor Norman Borlaug, that had been described as the father of African agricultural revolution, put it, and I share his ideal, is the fact that time for us to begin to say that Nigeria is endowed with this, and that is over. What is really required is for the product of those potentials to be on the table of the consumers. And I think this is what we all need to pursue. This is what we all need to give our own quota contributions. Yeah. Youth need to discard the culture of making it overnight. You cannot make it overnight. You must be patient. You must be committed. You must work hard. You must remain honest. Your integrity must be intact for you to succeed. Lastly, my call for all the youth is avoid being too ambitious in terms of you want to reach the sky by 1 hour. We must be patient. We must ensure that life is such that you need to be patient for you to make it meaningful. And you also need to work hard. I've been repeating that people must work hard. If you see anybody successful, he must have done rigors of working hard. If somebody told you about the number of hours Aliko Dangote is spending in terms of hard work, you will find it very difficult to believe. If you do the same hard work as Aliko is doing, and with prayer and with the guidance of God, you can also be like Aliko Dangote. There is nothing bad about it. If you work hard and you remain committed, you can be a more outstanding professor than myself. If you work hard and you really done it the way you should do, you can be a more successful Vice-Chancellor than myself. If you really work hard, consistent, and you obey, you follow the right channels and the right procedure, you can be a better president than any of the presidents that Nigeria actually produced. So there is no boundary to hard work, commitment, honesty, and transparency. If you can embed this tenet, you can be sure that you become successful in your life journey. I wish you the best, and I wish you best of luck, and I hope that there is something to take home from the discussions and the interview that I had with you. And I wish you best of luck in all you do and in your life endeavors as a whole. Thank you very much.